Next, we're gonna be adding the checkout process. So if we go back to our codes, we're gonna add another button to our shopping cart view. So we're gonna go to the views cart index, and then right beside where it says continue shopping, we're gonna add another link that will say and it's similar, the class is similar to this one here that's already there. We're gonna use btn primary. Now the action, so we're gonna use the tag helper. Action will be checkout. You're gonna call the action checkout, and the controller, we're gonna call the controller order. So we don't have them yet, but we're gonna create them in a second. So we're gonna close this, and you're gonna say that this is the checkout link. This is how it will look like. So let's create the controller, and let's create the action checkout. So under our controllers, let's create a new class, and I'm gonna call, I usually like to create a class from scratch. So I order controller. Don't forget the name controller at the end. This controller will inherit from controller, but for that to happen, we have to add the namespace ASP.NET Core.MVC. So I've added that to the top, and then we're gonna have, what is the name of our action? The action is called checkout. So I'm gonna say public, and it will return a view result. And for that, we're gonna call checkout. This is a method, and we're gonna use lambda expression here to return a view using the default name, which will be called checkout. And we're gonna send to it the order. Actually, we're gonna send a new order. So new order, because the order has not been created yet. So it's a new order, and we have to, of course, use the SportsStore models, because the order class is here. It's right under models. Okay, so that's our simple controller. For now, we just have this checkout, and we are missing this semicolon at the end here. Now we have to create the view, the checkout view. So I'm just gonna copy this. I'm gonna go to our views, and this will be stored under views order. So we have to add another folder here under views. So right click, add new folder. I'm gonna call this order, and then the first view will be called checkout. So I'm gonna right click in the folder, add new item, web, razor view, and I'm gonna call this checkout. Now I'm just gonna delete whatever is here. Remember, we are sending to the checkout, we are sending the order model. So we're gonna have to say that this view is tied to the order. And now we're just gonna have a form that will collect all the information about the order. So what is it that we have? We're gonna start by adding some information at the top. We have a H1 tag, checkout now, please enter your details and we'll ship your goods right away. Now we're gonna have to build a form. The form will be a post form, and we're gonna have the action as checkout. So we have to create now an HTTP post action in our controller. And of course the method is post. I'm just gonna close this form for now so we can start to fill it up. Now, what information are you gonna ask? Well, let's start to make this a little bit prettier. Let's have a section called ship to, and then under ship to, we're gonna have each and every field. So we're gonna the first field we're gonna use is the name. So I just created a small little div here with a fancy form group CSS definition. There is a label called name, and then there is an input which is linked to the name property of our model. So remember, we are following the fields that have been defined, the properties that have been defined under our order class. Okay, so you can see the fields here. Now we have name here, we have a class for the name, and again, we're just going to keep doing that for each and every field. We're going to have another section that I'm going to just call it address. And under address, you're going to have line 1, line 2, line 3. You're going to have each and every property of our order. We have line 1, we have line 2 as well, and then we link to line 2. Again, we are using the model binding to help us populate this, to help us link this back to our model. We're going to do the same thing with our line 3. And then we have city. I'm just going to copy and paste the rest of it. We have city, state, zip, and country. So I'm just going to paste them up here. See, city, state, zip, and country. We are linking to the appropriate property of our order model. The last section that we're going to have is the options section of our form, which will just talk about the checkbox for the gift wrap. So let's link this back. So we have a div here, which is linked to the class called checkbox. Again, this is related to Bootstrap. And we have a label. And inside this label, we have the input, which is linked to the gift wrap. Remember, gift wrap is a Boolean. So because of this, this automatically knows that it will be using a checkbox for this particular control here. So that's our form. Let's have a look how this is looking like right now. So we have our application here. Let's add a few items to the cart. And now I see checkout. If I click checkout, it will ask the information that is linked to the order. Of course, I did not implement yet a way to save this information, but that's what you're going to be doing very shortly. Actually, we are missing the complete order button here. So let's go back there to our form, and we have to finish this form by adding the button. So the button is defined right here, wrapped around a div. It's centered in the screen, and the type is a submit. The value, it says complete order. Next step, we're going to be implementing the order processing when we click complete order.